All right, that's what you're going to win. 10 people. We're almost at the 100 subscribers, so just a few more. So I continued on with the temperature test and with all the talk. And, all the products are good that people make. I'm not against any of it. But anyhow, so the end result is the espresso coming out. And if you look it up, it's supposed to be 160 to 165. So that's my whole focus here is I did several samples. And that's what I tended to get. I used 5 different machines. And I used just this thermometer. It's like a candy thermometer. But as long as I had a nice flow down the stem all the way down, I could get a pretty accurate reading with it. And it's what I had, so that's what I'm using. So this is the only one that was not quite 160, but then again, I wasn't really getting a good lineup on the stream out of there too. So that was my coolest one, even though it may have been because I didn't get a good flow. If you don't have a good flow down that stem, it's not going to be that accurate. So I continued on, and then I did this one right after that. This machine I left on probably about 25-30 minutes just to see how warm, if it's going to be too warm. But again, you can see I got here about 160, 165. So I got and you can see when you move it out of the stream, it loses its accurate reading. So yeah, almost every machine gave the same reading. And let's just do a couple more just for the heck of it. And as long as I can hold that stream over the stem, I can get a pretty good reading. And they all went up to just about that point, 160. And we'll do now the temperature test. So I'm using the same machine just so it's all consistent. And here she goes. She's just about at full temperature. So we'll go ahead and blast her up. That's our favorite little steaming sound. And then we'll just click her back down to 1 and let her settle down. And then we'll go ahead and focus on the temperature because we're going to be at the right pressure and we're ready to use it. And here we go. So we got up to, look, 67.1 Celsius, just easier to use. And you can see the pressure stayed the same, so it just kind of been slowly climbing since I turned it on and hit steam about the same amount. Hasn't really got that hot yet. I think a lot of people like it to be even hotter than this, but so it's just going to keep on going. I'm just going to leave it on a lot longer than I usually do. And we'll go ahead and just let it climb, and we'll see what's the top temperature we can get. And I'll go ahead and lift the lever, and we're going to make our first espresso here with it. And let it keep climbing, lift the lever. So it's about the same, and here we go. So it's going up a little bit. Get the temperature probe, and let's just see what the temperature of the espresso coming out. It was hard for me to hold the whole thing up, but let me get it under the stream and we'll get a reading here. So we've had the machine on a little while now, and we're just going to do our first espresso. Let's see what we get, so we can have a judgment call on that. And that's going pretty good. Great. So we have a steady rise in temperature and our pressure's the same, and we're just going to keep doing espressos. Here we're going to find out whether the espresso coming in the cup will be a different temperature ever with the hotter machine or the cooler machine. So long on the temperature checks by doing the espresso not long after turning down to 1, same temperature as the one I let sit on for 30 minutes. Now this time I'm running almost an hour, which I never leave these machines on that long. And there's another shot. So we're just going to pull shots till about half the water's gone, and we'll keep going. So we'll do another one. We're getting up to about the highest temperature that I've recorded from the last one. And we're going to just see, and I'm leaving this on about twice as long. or maybe even longer. So we're going to see just how, if we really need that temperature, and does the espresso going into your cup change temperature. So this whole brew head thing and all this temperature strips may not matter, because it really, what is it? It's what goes in the cup that's important. So we're up to about 87. And we're going to keep going. And let's see what the temperature of this shot is coming out now that we're at a higher temperature of the machine. And we'll just go. I wish I could have had a setup where you could have seen that too, but this is just the stuff I have. I'm not trying to make some big scientific wonderment, just to see what you can do at home, because that's what it's really about, is what you can do at home here. And because I've always had good espresso out of these machines, and so everyone's going on about temperature, so we'll just keep checking and see if there is actually any difference to the espresso coming out into your cup. On mine, no matter when I do it, it's been about the same. So, and there we go, 165 again. So each of these have come out that I've done as this heated up, no matter the lower or higher temperature of the reading, which is, from the fins and everything there. So you can go on about, what temperature that's reading. But anyway, that's what I have. And we're just going to keep going here. It's been working pretty good so far. And we'll see if we can really overheat this machine. So total on, I think, came to 1 hour and 10 minutes actually. But I never leave them on that long. I usually do one, I usually do an espresso, then turn it off and turn it back on when I'm ready to do another one. Or if you do 2 in a row, then I would turn it off after that. So here we go. And we're getting up to about our highest. We're almost at 90 centigrade, which isn't too hot, but might even be the brew temperature they like when you look it up on Google. So we're almost there. 89.4. We've really struggled to get it pretty hot, and I've done several shots, and sometimes it goes. So here we are at our 90.9, which still isn't really too hot. That's about the brewing temperature they like, maybe even a little lower. So we'll go ahead and keep on going. We're going to do another shot here at its hottest temperature, and we're going to see if the espresso coming out is hotter than when you were at our lower temperature, what that actual espresso coming out is going to be. So we're at, and we raise the lever. You can see it kind of drops a little bit. Sometimes it goes up, but those are all little tiny amounts, so it's not that important, I don't think, because again, you're just getting the temperature from the cooling fin there. But anyway, it works. I like the way it looks. I don't have them on all my machines, but I wanted it on this machine because usually I have a lot more trouble with looking at all this. I kind of like the machine that has nothing on it. It really works really good. That that first machine we made. So we're dropping down a little bit. We're down from 90. And we'll probably see a drip or two here, and then I'll go ahead and do the pull down, and we'll see what happens and what the temperature is on this one. 88. And whether there's some fluctuation just from the air, but it's pretty warm here. There's not really any wind going on. It's a pretty stable environment right there, but we're kind of, as we've left that up a while, you can see that it actually cools down when the water goes in. So let's sneak in here and let's see what this espresso comes down. We're going to see if it's too hot or if it's actually changed the temperature it is when you brew it. Whether you leave the lever up a while or... So we're just doing all the variables. And get ready. It's exciting. Here comes the lever. And we're going to get another reading, and we'll see just exactly if your espresso changes temperature the longer you have the machine on. And I think that's too long for these machines. They're not really meant to just sit on all the time. It's just not the type they are. There's a lot of nice machines like that that are plumbed in with water, and you can just have that baby running. But so we got 165 again. Actually 168 if you're trying to, but So everything's out, and there we go. We got the highest temperature I could get, hour and a half, 92.1. And then it started dropping right after that. So we're about half full on water, and there it goes. It's going to start going down. So what I've discovered is all my espressos were about 160 to 170 of the liquid coming out, no matter how long the machine was on. So that's it. I couldn't overheat it again. I tried and I tried.